We live in a very unique window of history where we have a wealth of information at our fingertips. A window that I personally believe is closing. The propaganda, the disinformation, the misinformation campaigns are in full swing, and they are incrementally conditioning the people into giving up their rights and liberties and just going along to get along, conforming to the system. How many news and information sources do you know with 100% certainty operate without being influenced either financially or some politically driven agenda, or any agenda for that matter? I'm sure that many of you are familiar with Operation Mockingbird. This was a secret campaign run by the CIA to influence the media. They recruited journalists and established a network to present the CIA's views, many of which profited the war industry and the military-industrial complex. As the operation developed, it also worked to influence foreign media and political campaigns in addition to other CIA-related activities. Before I get into the bill that's currently in Congress, resurrecting Operation Mockingbird, let's take a quick blast to the past, to the 1975 Church Committee hearings.
I thought that it was a matter of real concern that planted stories intended to serve a national purpose abroad came home and were circulated here and believed here, because this would mean that the CIA could manipulate the news in the United States by channeling it through some foreign country. And we're looking at that very carefully.
House Resolution 5181, Countering Foreign Propaganda and Disinformation Act of 2016. This bill has already been referred to as America's own Ministry of Truth. This bill is currently in Congress, and as you can see, it clearly states to counter foreign disinformation and propaganda and for other purposes. In the beginning of the text, they are very quick to point out the threat from foreign governments, the threat that foreign governments pose, specifically the Russian Federation and the People's Republic of China, and how they use disinformation and other propaganda tools to undermine the national security objectives of the United States and their key allies and partners. The stated purpose for this bill is for the U.S. government to establish the Center for Information Analysis and Response, referred to as the Center. Now, the Secretary of State will coordinate with the Secretary of Defense and Director of the National Intelligence Agency, as well as the Broadcasting Board of Governors. They leave the door open for agents from any other agency to participate on this board and the steering committee. I find it very interesting that some of the key areas geopolitically that are referenced here include the Ukraine, Moldova, Georgia, the Balkans, and throughout Central and Eastern Europe. Listed among the 9 key functions that the center will conduct, they look to identify current emerging trends in foreign propaganda and disinformation. That includes print, broadcast, online, and social media. They also include third-party outlets such as think tanks, political parties, and NGOs. Get this, the use of covert clandestine special operators and agents to influence targeted populations and governments, in order to coordinate and shape the development of tactics, techniques, and procedures, and of course to expose foreign misinformation and disinformation, and proactively promote the conveniently fact-based narratives and policies that benefit the U.S. and their allies. Much like Operation Mockingbird, the Information Warfare Act of 2016 will also have state education and cultural exchange programs. These were used as fronts in the past. And much like Operation Mockingbird, this is going to be geared towards foreign propaganda. Well, history shows us that the tools of war always end up coming back on the people. And to top it all off, this is going to be funded by you, the taxpayer, a whopping $20 million to support the center and provide grants or contracts of financial support to civil society groups, journalists, NGOs, federally funded research and development centers, private companies, and academic institutions. I will leave links so you can come through and read this in full. And for all the skeptics out there that think that the U.S. is immune to government state-run propaganda, 3 years ago, the U.S. repealed the propaganda ban, allowing the government to create the news that benefits their agendas.
At CBS, we
been contacted by the CIA. As a matter of fact, by the time I became the head of the whole News and Public Affairs operation in 1954, ships had been established, and I was told about them and asked if I'd carry on with.
Newsbud will not accept or solicit any kind of donation, funding, or bribery from any NGO, government, or corporation. We are proudly supported and backed by you, the people. We can't make Newsbud happen without you, so I strongly encourage you today to come over here and pledge your donation. We are 91% there. Let's reach 95% today with your help for Newsbud.